Yo, welcome to the NS9 Postgame Show. I'm your host, Anthony DiNardo. With me, we have our co-host, Neil. Neil, we're back to talk once again, another Pirates loss in Chicago. Another very unpleasant Pirates loss in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk and get this over with again.
Somehow worse than yesterday?
Somehow.
I don't know how. But yeah, no, this was miserable again. Didn't start off miserable, but it got real bad as soon as our star boy Contreras came in.
There's a lot of emotions this game.
Yeah.
Like, I'll put it that way. Like you mentioned, it started off actually pretty good. I mean, first off, let's just discuss and talk, right? Osvaldo Bido does make his debut today.
Yeah.
And Osvaldo Bido basically did everything you needed him to do. Now, granted, he only went 4 innings. But in those 4 innings, he pitched well enough. He had 6 strikeouts, 3 walks. I mean, he's a little bit shaky, but honestly, that's kind of something you expect out of Bido in his performance. But just 4 hits, 1 earned run. Again, it was just 4 innings. But honestly, with a spot start under the circumstances, it's not the worst thing in the world. Like, I'll take this start from him basically in this situation every time.
Yeah. I mean, I in no universe do we think that Bido was a future starter.
Right.
But with the stuff that he showed today, like he had a fun 5-pitch mix, I think. He could be used as a bullpen piece, and I think after today, Lord knows we need bullpen pieces. He did what he needed to do. His command's not great, but he has some pretty good stuff. And so I'm not saying like high leverage reliever, but I mean, at the very least, you can use him, I think.
No, I mean, I agree with that. Like, I know we've discussed and talked about him and like his potential and what he is and such, but like that doesn't take away the fact that I think he can be a decent reliever. That's just what a lot of failed starters become. They become good, decent relievers. And I think, like you said, like he has his stuff at place enough. The walks, the control is certainly concerning. We saw that today, but I mean, honestly, that was like the MO of every Neil Huntington bullpen, like if this was 10 years ago, Bido's in this bullpen and he's successful under Neil Huntington. It just is what it is, right?
Yeah.
So like I could see him being a pretty solid piece in the bullpen. And like you said, a little foreshadowing we'll talk about today, maybe they'll need him sooner than later in that role.
Yeah, you're not kidding. Because our division lead is pretty tenuous right now.
Very much.
And we need all the bodies we can get because this bullpen has gone from one of the least problematic parts of the team to one of the most problematic parts of the team. And it's
this
unfortunate.
Week. Until it changes next week, something else.
Bido did his job. And when you give Bido 4 good innings and you get 5 runs, you need to win that game.
No, you hit the nail on the head right
Zero
there.
reason we lose that game. But yeah.
Right. That's what really stunk. So again, congrats to Bido. He makes his debut. He pitched effectively enough to give this team the win. And right, like you said, the offense was there. I mean, Andrew McCutchen also started off the game home run.
Yeah.
McCutchen gets it going, and it didn't stop. I mean, the Pirates were actually, the bats were out there. Santana, Kutch, Connor Joe a little bit. I mean, the bats were alive. I mean, they did score 6 runs, so the bats were alive. Bido did his job for 4 innings. I mean, at that point in time, you figure you're handing the ball over to Roansy. He's in the bullpen. I know he's had his issues, but he's just in the bullpen now. You feel comfortable and confident you're going to win this game.
Yeah.
And they hand the ball over to Roansy. And granted, too, that first inning out, he looked solid.
Yeah. First inning was great. Second inning was a nightmare. He just lost all control, all composure. And the Cubs got lucky. they had some of their dinky little hits again, but 3 walks before he got pulled. It was either right down the middle or it was 2 feet outside the zone. Like it was, there is
And
something not
always
right
away.
mentally. And I think when you see it and like the velocity's down, the stuff
Yes.
isn't there. And it's kind of what they're trying to do with Ortiz too. And I don't know what they're doing where they're telling him to stop throwing as hard and to focus on going longer in games, but like it's not working. Ortiz and Contreras look like a shell of the pitcher that they were last year.
Right.
And it's a problem.
For sure. I don't know what to make of Roansy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna. I mean, behind the scenes a little bit. Tyler's actually discussed a little bit. Even Jim right now. I mean, like there is that little worry. Is he injured?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like that's just speculation. That's all you can really do. You know, in that sense, we don't know. But
Mm-hmm.
what we do know is like everything you pinpointed here. Like it just doesn't look right. And I
Yeah.
know a lot of like with Ortiz too. Like you wonder. I mean, like why is his stuff not as electric? You know, why is he throwing so much slower? Why is the velocity down and such? And that's with Ronesy as well this year. Like, why is the velocity down? Like, I get it too. Like when he came out last year, he's throwing 98. I mean, but he was in the bullpen, so you understand it. Now he went into rotation, it went down a little bit. But like
Mm-hmm.
this year, it's down even more. And today, out of the bullpen, like this, the velocity still like I was hoping to. Like I was hoping he was just gonna rip it. You know,
Yeah.
he's in the bullpen now, just rip it. And he
No.
wasn't still. So I don't know what to make of him. Like, is this a real concern for him physically? Is this a concern mentally? Is it a combination? Like, is the bullpen the answer? Like, does he have to go down to Indianapolis? Which also, man, I hope not, because we're already talking about the hurt or the depth and such. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, I have real concerns about Rosie Contreras right now.
Oh yeah, it's real bad. And it really is a problem if the two guys that we're depending on to be rotation mainstays in Contreras and Ortiz for years aren't going to be those guys.
Right.
And again, it might be an injury thing, but I don't even know if it's an injury thing because again, like it seems like it's a concerted effort by the pitching staff or like the coaching and the development team to have them chill out with like their best stuff, make them come and do like I don't know, like basically make them longer and have more longevity in games. And it's not successful. Like when you tell guys to stop pitching their best stuff or what made them good pitchers, this is what's going to happen. They're not good enough. And Contreras now has one of the worst fastballs in baseball.
Yeah.
And when he was coming up, he had a great fastball. So like I have no idea what happened. But it's not looking good.
It is not. And again, I don't know yet where to go with this at all with him.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it gets very, very troublesome. To go next from Contreras, like it didn't get any better. Obviously, he gave up 5 earned. They're all to him, but our boy Ramirez came back into the game today and didn't look sharp again. Now, last night we discussed and we talked like, you know, we mentioned too, like the weather situation. We talked also like, you know, was that possible? Like, couldn't grip the ball and such. Is that why he didn't look good? He looked good again today at all. Ramirez came in,
Nope.
just pitched 0.2 innings, 2 hits, gave up the 1 earned run. But of course, all the batters that Contreras left on base, he gave up as well. No, didn't look good from him at all either.
Yeah, and like I've seen a lot of people try to throw this game on Shelton, and I don't really think that's fair. But if there is one thing that I don't get, it was coming back to Johan today to get out of that jam. Like especially when I'm not a huge Perdomo guy, but he's been nailed since he's come up.
Yeah.
Jose Hernandez has been good. Moreta wasn't great yesterday. But it's just like, why are we going to him after last night? I don't get it.
I'm with you there. I think there's better options, like you said with Moreta. I mean, that's certainly one. The person I really want to talk about, Jose Hernandez.
Yeah.
Right. 2.10 ERA. He's pitched once or twice in June. 1.2 innings pitched in June. What's happened to him? Where's he gone? You know, we've had like I want to say we've hyped him up to the degree you can hype him up as a Rule 5 draft pick, but like he actually looks solid. And he's proving himself, little bit each time, step by step, each step of the way here in the season that, he can be a competent bullpen piece. And where's he gone?
Your guess is as good as mine. I have no earthly idea. I have no idea why he's fallen out of favor. It makes no sense to me.
Like, is it out of favor, or is it just, oh yeah, I forgot you're there? I don't know.
I refuse to believe they just forget that one of their bullpen arms exists when like they've been giving innings to like Cody Bolton and Chase Dion. Like I refuse to believe that, because if that's the case, this team's doomed, like legitimately doomed. But it makes no sense. Use your best pitchers.
That's where I'm at. Like you said, like I'm not going to put it on Shelton either. Your guys have to perform. And after Beto, outside of Hernandez, who came in for the 0.1 innings to end this game for the Pirates, in that sense, no one performed, right? Like there was not one person that performed. They have to pitch. They have to do well. Like your players need to perform and win games.
Yeah.
But that is kind of confusing. Now granted too, like we have talked up Ramirez and he has looked good, but right, like after last night, he didn't look sharp last night. He's coming off of a game already. Hernandez hasn't been used. Like, I don't understand why you don't go to other guys as well. Like, Moreta has certainly looked much better than Ramirez, even though Ramirez, we talk, has looked pretty decent. And, you're intrigued by him and such. But again, also Hernandez. Like, Hernandez has looked really, really good.
Yeah.
Why are you not going to those guys?
And, like, I don't know. Like, I understand like going to Moreta last night because he pitched. I understand going to Moreta tonight because he pitched last night, but then I also don't think that it makes any sense to go to Riohan. Like after, I don't know.
Situation.
And this idea that like why did he let Rowanzi go more than one inning? Well, because they're trying to keep him as a starter. The idea was probably let him go 3 innings, have like a combined start, then go 8-9 with like Holderman and Bednar, and then you have a pretty good thing. But clearly that didn't work out. But yeah, and to me, so really this loss to me is on Rowanzi, because you can't perform like that. He completely blew the game up, and then Holderman put the game on ice.
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it. And also, for those who question it, I mean, Rowanzi, this is the role he was in last year when he came in the bullpen. Started off, that's what he was. Remember, it was Crow. It was DeYoung too, right? Crow, DeYoung, and Rowanzi in that like 2 to 3 inning, multi-inning role. When no starter went more than 4 innings, it felt like for a month and a half. So like, like that's what you want to see from him. You want to see him in the bullpen, but you want to get some innings. And of course, too, with Beto only going 4, you wanted to have some length from Rowanzi in this inning outing.
Yeah.
And when you saw the first inning was good, you probably felt comfortable putting him out there again. So again, like I can't put that on Shelton either. He is a starter in the bullpen. Who, your starter for today's game only went 4. So he gave you 1 solid in the 5th. I'm putting him back out there again, full confidence.
Yeah. And he's a starter. She's like, there's no way you're going to have someone up and going after that first inning. Like Rowanzi's a starter. You want him to get 2 or 3 innings. You're not going to, so like, it's going to take a while for someone to then get warmed up and ready to go. So like, I don't know, like putting this loss on Shelton is weird because if you go to, he went to 5 bullpen guys today. 3 of them were terrible.
Yeah.
At some point, it's on the players.
Right.
At that point, like if you keep going and you keep getting garbage results, it's on the guy who constructs the team, not the manager who manages them.
Mm-hmm. No, very good point. And right, like you mentioned, the 3 guys, always we talk about Contreras, Ramirez, and Holderman. Holderman had his 0.2 innings with 4 hits, 3 earned, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. Like he did not look good today. And this is a guy who has looked solid all year long. He hasn't been as sharp lately. I still like, it's not like I'm losing confidence in him. Things sometimes just happen, but he has the 4.01 ERA. And of course, reliever ERAs are, I don't want to say pointless, but you don't want to invest too much time into what that number truly is. But like he didn't do his job today at all either. Now they were losing, but there was no point of coming back.
To be entirely fair, like his first 2 hits were normal ground outs if we weren't shifted all weird ways around the field.
Yeah, true.
And then he gives up the big double to Suzuki. And so it's hard because in a normal inning, that's a double, a walk, and you take him out for Jose Hernandez, and it's over with no run score. Now, you probably don't score another run because you have Austin Hedges leading off the 9th inning, even though
Hey,
he
now
did.
he hit a home run tonight.
And it's I think I tweeted out, it's a war crime that we wasted that.
Right.
But, like, I don't want to say Holderman was like awful today because really it was like one bad at bat.
That's fair. Yeah, like I remember too, the one that went, second. Like, I mean, he was basically standing on second base. Like there was a huge gap between first and second that went right through. So yeah, that's a good point. The pseudo shift kind of really affected him today. But yeah, and as mentioned, then it goes over Jose Hernandez for the one out that he needed, and he got it done. But yeah, the bullpen certainly they're the one that lost this game. The offense did show up to a degree, right? Again, they had 6 runs. Beto did his job, which you really want. I wasn't expecting that start from him, so he did well today. Bullpen highlight about Roansy, like he lost it, and that's the thing. Like Roansy's at a 6.55 ERA at this point in time.
Yeah,
yeah.
And not to go off on a tangent, but that's one of the better trades that yours pointed out to when you talk about trades. We're not going to go into it.
We said we're not doing any tangents tonight because we're going to keep it short and actually keep it short.
Yes.
Don't do this to me, Neil.
I just want to point it out. We're not going to go into it. But yeah, bad day by the bullpen.
Very much so. Let's end it on somewhat of a positive. Let's talk about the offense. As mentioned, some guys that did have multi-hits today. Reynolds went 3 for 5. It was nice seeing him get going. Connor Joe had 2 hits. Santana had 2 hits, 4 RBIs. Santana had that last bat not so great, but Santana had a good game today. Even defensively, that out he made in the netting. Good game by Santana, and we have kind of harped on him. Old man Santana, why is he getting all these starts, his playing time? There he is again in the 4 hole as his lineup shifted all around again. But he had a good game today.
Yeah. And not to take it away from him, but it was this case where in any other park that doesn't leave the yard, apparently it was a unicorn. So
was it? I didn't see that.
Yeah, still not great. But yeah, no, much better from Santana. And his defense at first base has been great all year. It's never been the issue. He has always been really good, rock solid at first base. I still would like to see him move away from the 4 spot. But yes, good night for Santana. Good night for Joe. Yeah, when you get that many hits from your top 4 and you don't win the game, it's malpractice.
Once again, let's add to it. You get that many hits from your top 4 and a home run from Austin Hedges.
Yes, and a home run from Austin Hedges.
Correct. This game should have been on the ice to begin with a long time ago. Done. Game blouses. Soon as Hedges flipped that bat, it was done. Just everyone go home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you that's what happens in normal time. But then you let Yan Gomes get on base 3 times. You let Nick Madrigal reach multiple times. You let Mike Tauchman get on base 3 times. Like we got killed by
him,
the worst hitters on this team. And again, you can't blame the offense. The offense put up 6 runs. They were even trying to mount a bit of a comeback. Like they put on a lot of runners in the 8th and 9th innings.
Mm-hmm.
So like it was 100% on the pitching staff, and I think we played a pretty good defensive game too. I don't remember any besides Castro slipping.
Yeah, I mean he didn't handle the ball well, and then he slipped. So everything Castro it just is what it is, and you know how much I like the guy's talents, right? But he just simply is not a shortstop at all. Fair. There was that one, and what I want to say too, not that it cost anything as well, but there was the other play he made. He has to learn to just eat the ball too, because there was that one play where, I mean, there was no business him throwing it the first. He dove, he threw it underhand basically to the first base sidearm, and like the guy was pretty much already on first base when he threw it. And that's just one of those that's like that perfect situation where Castro throws it and it gets past Santana and that guy's on second. So I just want to bring it up. It was a sound defensive game. It was just Castro who had that one, but there was another one that could have really gone south. He has to just learn to he doesn't have to make every play.
Yeah. No, and I mean, did you also turn around and he had that really good, like, where he ran off to the left, like towards third and gunned hit the runner down with like a ridiculously good throws. Like, he has the athleticism. He does not have the baseball IQ, I think, to play shortstop every day.
Right. No, I'm with you. And that's why I think he can be a really good second baseman. Like, he is super, super athletic. Short isn't it though. He's done well at second base. He's always going to have his mishaps, right? But he certainly has a lot of highlights too.
Yeah, I think that's entirely fair.
Yeah. So I don't know. Again, outside of that, the offense pretty much showed up. 12 hits in total, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts. Kutch had another homer, as mentioned. That was cool to see.
It was.
The way this game went and how long it took, I forgot it even existed in like the 7th inning, but I was reminded when it was on the broadcast.
It really felt like 2 separate games after Beto left.
It really did. Yeah. So I guess outside of that, I don't know. Anything else that you really want to discuss and talk about?
I don't want to discuss another thing from this game.
That's very fair. So they'll play again tomorrow. Not a day game. It's a night game. So we'll be back. I think it's Jim and Doug tomorrow night. Something like that.
Yeah.
But hopefully it's Marcus Stroman who's having a very good, solid season.
I watch Stroman tomorrow. I was afraid of that. All right. Well,
yeah.
Let's look forward to the Milwaukee series.
Yeah. With that said, too, as you kind of alluded to and mentioned, this division, man, outside of the Cardinals who just keep falling and falling and falling. I mean, everyone's right there, and them Reds are coming.
The Reds are a game under 500 and a game and a half out of first place.
Yep.
Pisses me off.
This is a huge road trip right now for this early into the season still. So, all right, well, I guess we will be back again tomorrow. Hopefully there's no sweep, but we'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, you all. Thank you for watching. I know we try to provide the most entertaining content that we can, and we'd love to spread it to as many people as possible. So I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you could take the 5 seconds to like this video and subscribe to the page, it helps out so much more than you know. Thank you, and let's go Bucks.